The Chicago Bears 2025 schedule has been revealed, so it's time to go game by game and give you guys my way too early prediction for how the Bears will be doing this year. What's going on, guys? I'm back with another Chicago Bears news update video. The Bears schedule dropped today, and you guys can start making plans now on which games you guys want to go to, whether that be at Soldier Field or on the road. I definitely want to try to get to at least a few Bears games this year and maybe one on the road. I've never been to one on the road yet in my life, so I definitely want to try to get to one this year. Maybe the one in Vegas. I'm definitely eyeing that one because so many Bears fans always make the trip to Vegas. But yeah, guys, the schedule dropped and the Bears have 5 primetime games this year. 5 primetime games is a lot for a team coming off a 5-win season, but that just really shows you how much faith the NFL has in the Chicago Bears for 2025 and how much faith they probably have in Ben Johnson and all the upgrades that Ryan Poles made in the trenches. I mean, I personally do expect the Bears to be a competitive and good team this year. I know us Bears fans say that every single damn year, but this time we actually have, real reason for that optimism. We have a new head coach in Ben Johnson, who was the top option available by far on the marketplace, a brilliant offensive mind from the Detroit Lions, who's had so much success there. And Bears made so many upgrades on the offensive line and also on the defensive line, added some playmakers too in Colson Loveland and Luther Burden via the NFL draft. So there's a lot to be excited about this year. Now, the Bears do have a pretty tough schedule on paper. The NFC North is always tough. We're playing the AFC North this year and also the NFC East, which are all pretty good divisions at this point in time. So the Bears don't really get a break in terms of schedule opponent win percentage, but the NFL changes so much year by year. Injuries happen. Some players have unexpected breakouts. Some players have unexpected declines. So I wouldn't really worry about what the strength of schedule looks like on paper at this point in time because so much can change. But I just want to go game by game and give you guys, a brief analysis of each game, talk about the storylines, and tell you guys if I think the Chicago Bears are going to win that game. So without further ado, guys, let's get into the video. We begin the Ben Johnson era at home at Soldier Field against our rivals, the Minnesota Vikings, on Monday Night Football. It's going to be a primetime showdown for the whole country to watch, and there's going to be a lot of intriguing storylines. It's going to be Ben Johnson's first game ever as head coach of the Chicago Bears. It's also going to be opposing quarterback J.J. McCarthy's first start ever in the NFL against his childhood favorite team, the Chicago Bears. So a lot of cool storylines entering this game. Now, Ben Johnson definitely got the better of Brian Flores when he was with the Detroit Lions. Ben Johnson's offense scored 30-plus points 4 times the last couple years. So I think it will help tremendously that Ben Johnson already has familiarity against the opposing defensive coordinator. Now, on the flip side, Brian Flores also has familiarity against Ben Johnson, but this offense in Chicago is going to be pretty different than what he saw in Detroit. I mean, the personnel is vastly different. Caleb Williams is a very different quarterback than Jared Goff, and there's just so many different things with the personnel here that are not totally similar to Detroit. So there's going to be no tape right now on the Chicago Bears offense, which is a big advantage for Ben Johnson and the Chicago Bears. And obviously, there's no tape on J.J. McCarthy either, but a rookie quarterback making his first start ever, that usually does not go very well historically speaking. Now, J.J. McCarthy is not a rookie quarterback technically, but he has not played a single game in the NFL. So for all intents and purposes, he is basically a rookie to the NFL. And Dennis Allen is a veteran, experienced defensive coordinator. I'm sure he's going to have a plan in place for J.J. McCarthy. And even though Kevin O'Connell is a fantastic head coach, and this could be a very close game, I'm going to give the win to the Chicago Bears because there's going to be so much energy surrounding Ben Johnson's first game ever. Head coaches usually win their first game with their new team. Historically speaking, it happened so many times the last couple of years. Even Matt Eberflus won his first game ever, and he was a bad head coach, right? So I think there's going to be a lot of energy surrounding Ben Johnson, surrounding Caleb Williams, second season, all the new additions that we made. I think that energy at Soldier Field is going to carry the Chicago Bears to a close victory to start 1-0 on the season. Week 2, we're going to Detroit to Ben Johnson's old team to take on the Lions. And the Lions are a really good football team, okay? They've been really good for the past couple seasons. Their roster is tremendous. Even though they lost both their offensive and defensive coordinator, I think this is going to be a really tough game for the Chicago Bears. I mean, obviously, the Ben Johnson revenge game. That's going to be a fun storyline. I'm sure the Lions fans are going to boo the hell out of Ben Johnson. They absolutely despise this dude for leaving them for a division rival. So there's going to be a lot of animosity from the Lions fan base. And even though a win here would be so sweet for the Chicago Bears, I got to be a little bit realistic. And, being so early in the season with Ben Johnson still installing his offense with a young quarterback, I'm going to give the edge to the Lions here because they're going to be at home and it's just going to be a tough game for the Bears. So even though I think the Bears can win this with how good our own team is now, I am going to give this win to the Lions to move the Bears to 1-1 on the season. Week 3, we're coming back home to Soldier Field to take on the Dallas Cowboys and defensive coordinator Matt Eberflus. Okay, it's going to be hopefully a Caleb Williams revenge game against Matt Eberflus with how badly Eberflus coached this team the last couple seasons. I'm sure the Bears fans are going to boo the hell out of Eberflus in this game. And even though I like the Cowboys roster a good amount, I mean, their offense especially is very explosive with Dak Prescott returning from injury, with them acquiring George Pickens, with CeeDee Lamb there, and with the, pretty good offensive mind in Brian Schottenheimer. Their offense is going to be relatively tough to stop, but their defense has major question marks. And the Bears being at home, I think it's going to be a game they should be able to win against a Cowboys team that was reeling a bit last year. Now, again, Dak is back healthy, so it's going to be tough in that aspect, but we cannot lose to Matt Eberflus at home. I'm sorry, we have to find a way to win this game. That would be so embarrassing to lose to our former head coach, and I hope Caleb goes crazy in this game, especially on 3rd and longs, which Matt Eberflus historically has given up so many of those 3rd and longs up. So I really think the Bears win this game to go to 2-1 on the season. Week 4, we're traveling to Las Vegas to take on the Raiders, and games in Vegas are historically taken over by Bears fans. I remember the last game we played in Vegas, Bears fans took that stadium over and were chanting for the Chicago Bears at the end of that game. So I think the home crowd advantage the Raiders have is basically non-existent here. It's going to be at least 50-50 Bears fans. And the Raiders have a pretty unique roster. They have holes on this roster at certain spots, especially in the trenches at certain spots. But if you look at their playmakers, I mean, at running back, they got Ashton Genty. At tight end, they got Brock Bowers, who's coming off a fantastic rookie season. Geno Smith has been pretty solid the past couple years. And they got Max Crosby on defense. So they do have a good amount of guys on this team, and Pete Carroll in the past has been a pretty good head coach for the most part for the Seahawks. So this could be a kind of a trap game for the Bears, but I am going to give the win here to the Chicago Bears because I do think Ben Johnson will get the better of this Raiders defense. This Raiders defense still has way too many question marks on it. I think Caleb can have a pretty good game here in Las Vegas with a lot of Bears fans on his side as well. I think the Bears win this to go to 3-1 on the season. Week 5, we got our bye week, and it really sucks to have a bye week this early in the season. We're going to have so many games after this. I mean, it's not even like a third into the season. So really sucks having an early bye week, but there's nothing we can do about that. I mean, the last time the Bears did have a bye week this early, I believe, was 2018. So, it's worked for us in the past, but again, not ideal to have our bye week this early. So kind of sucks. But if you go to week 6, then we're taking on the Commanders in Washington, D.C., and this game is going to be a nationally televised game, obviously, okay? It's on Monday Night Football for the whole country to watch. There's going to be so much hype entering this game with how the last game ended with the Hail Mary happening. They're going to replay that Hail Mary so many times in the pregame show, which I'm going to turn off the pregame show and the pregame commentary because they're going to talk about that so damn much, but even though I want a win so badly for the Chicago Bears in this game, okay, to get revenge on the Commanders would feel so sweet with how that last game ended, with how their fan base has been talking to us the last year, honestly, I gotta give a win here to the Commanders just because they're a more proven team at this point in time, and they also acquired a lot of talent this offseason. They acquired Laramie Tunsil at left tackle. They made good draft picks too. I mean, right now, the Commanders, you got to admit, are the better football team, although I still can see the Chicago Bears winning this game because Caleb is going to take this game personally. He's from the DC area, so he's going to want to get a win for the home people he has in attendance there, and he knows everything that's been said about the comparison between him and Jaden Daniels, all the success that Jaden Daniels had last year being Rookie of the Year. He's going to want to win this game for those reasons, but I just think right now I can't pick a win because the Bears are too unproven. So I have the Bears dropping this game to go to 3-2 on the season. Week 7, we're returning back home to Soldier Field to take on the Saints. And the Saints don't really have a plan at quarterback right now. Derek Carr's retired. He's not going to be there. They drafted Tyler Shaw in the 2nd round. They also got Spencer Rattler from last year and Jake Haener too, but neither of these options excite me at all. I think the Saints have the worst quarterback room in the NFL by far at this point in time. So simply for those reasons, I had the Chicago Bears winning this game. Okay, it's going to be kind of a Dennis Allen revenge game too. Okay, playing the team that fired him, the team that he was a defensive coordinator for a long time. I think against young, inexperienced quarterbacks, Dennis Allen and the Bears defense are really going to shine, especially being at home. So Bears win this game to go to 4-2 on the season. Week 8, we're going to Baltimore to face off against Lamar Jackson and the Ravens. And the Ravens have been a really good team for quite some time now, especially under Lamar Jackson every single year. Seems like they go deep in the playoffs. And with them having such a proven veteran stacked roster, it's really tough to pick against them, especially with the Bears being on the road. Okay, they just have so many guys like, Roquan Smith, Derrick Henry, Lamar Jackson, a lot of playmakers too. I mean, if you look at the defense stacked with talent. So I got to give the win here to the Ravens. It's going to be a tough game for the Bears, probably one of the toughest ones on their schedule. So the Bears lose this game to go to 4-3 on the season. Week 9, another AFC North opponent. We're going to Cincinnati to take on the Bengals. And the Bengals, even though they have Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, and T. Higgins, they have a lot of question marks entering this season. They have contract drama with Trey Hendrickson. Their defense was historically bad last year, and I actually think this is a game the Bears can win, even though Joe Burrow is fantastic and they're probably going to put up a good amount of points in this game. The Bengals are. I do think the Bears also can put up a lot of points in this game. Okay, by week 9, I would hope that Ben Johnson's offense is really flowing and humming. Hopefully Caleb Williams is having a really good season at this point in time, seeing the field really well, connecting with all of his weapons. Hopefully all the new guys like Luther Burden, like Colson Loveland are really getting integrated into this offense very well at this point in the season. So with it being like the halfway mark of the season, with the Bengals having so many question marks on defense, I actually am going to give the win here to the Chicago Bears. I'm not really a big fan of the Bengals head coach Zach Taylor either. I think he could be a candidate for getting fired mid-season this year if the Bengals don't have a good record. So with so much drama surrounding the Bengals, with so much fresh new energy on the Chicago Bears, I'm giving the win here to the Bears for the Bears to go to 5-3 on the season. Week 10, back at Soldier Field for a date against the New York Giants. I'm not even sure who's going to be the quarterback at this point in time. Is it going to be Russell Wilson? Is it going to be Jameis Winston? Is it going to be the rookie Jackson Dart? I kind of hope it's the rookie Jackson Dart at this point in time. If the Giants have a really bad record, maybe they will turn to Jackson Dart. Maybe this could be Jackson Dart's debut in the NFL. You never know. Maybe Brian Daboll is going to try to save his ass and start the rookie in this game. But either case, guys, the Giants don't have a good football team at this point in time. Sure, they have talent at certain positions. They got Malik Neighbors. They drafted Abdul Carter really high in the draft this year. They have a good amount of big names at certain spot. I'm still not a big believer in the Giants this year. I think they made a pretty desperate move to trade up for Jackson Dart to save their own asses, but I do think Brian Daboll and their GM are both going to get fired at the end of this year. And the Chicago Bears being at home at Soldier Field, they have a more talented football team, a better head coach too, in my opinion. I think the Bears win this game to go to 6-3 on the season. Week 11, we finally have another divisional game, this time against the Vikings in Minnesota. And even though I gave the Bears a win in the first game, I am going to give a win here to the Minnesota Vikings because they have such a tremendous head coach. Kevin O'Connell always figures out ways to win football games. I'm sure at this point in the season, things are going to be simplified for JJ McCarthy too in the NFL. They have a very talented roster on defense too. So even though I think the Bears get one win against them, I'm not having a sweep in the Vikings. So the Bears lose this game to go to 6-4 on the year. Week 12, back at Soldier Field for a game against the Pittsburgh Steelers. And I'm not sure who's going to be the quarterback. Probably Aaron Rodgers, even though he's not on the roster right now. The Steelers have a big hole at quarterback right now. Aaron Rodgers has been linked to the Steelers. So I'm assuming it's going to be Rodgers, in which case he's making his return to Soldier Field for the first time since he said the "I own you" comment. So I am sure Bears fans are going to be very loud and rowdy for this game, okay? We're going to be trying to beat the shit out of Aaron Rodgers in this game and show him how washed up he is, hopefully, at this point in his career. And with the Steelers having so many question marks on the offensive side of the football, sure, they acquired DK Metcalf, but they got rid of George Pickens, their number one option for the past couple seasons, and their offensive coordinator also has a lot of question marks surrounding him. Like, the Steelers just have no energy entering this season. Their fan base is kind of in shambles right now. Yes, Mike Tomlin wins games every single season, and sure, this is going to be a tough game because Mike Tomlin, again, is a coach that you can never count out. With whatever roster he has, he finds a way to get the most out of that roster. I'm having the Chicago Bears win this game because I believe more in Ben Johnson, Caleb Williams, and the Bears offense than I do anybody on the Steelers at this point in time. I think their defense could be pretty fearsome, so it's going to be a tough test, but the Bears have more than enough talent to face off against this team and win this game, being at Soldier Field. So I have the Bears win this game to go to 7-4 on the year. Week 13, we got a Black Friday game. The day after Thanksgiving, we're going to Philadelphia to play the Eagles on primetime television. Is going to be on Amazon Prime. And obviously, guys, the Eagles winning the Super Bowl last year, probably having the best roster in the NFL right now. I got to pick a loss for the Bears. It'd be stupid to pick a win for the Bears, especially being on the road against the defending champs. Now, a win is possible. Okay, it is the NFL. Any given Sunday, anything is possible. And maybe there's going to be a Super Bowl hangover for the Eagles. You never know. But at this point in time, the Eagles have much more elite talent, a much more proven football team. So I have the Bears dropping this game to go to 7-5 on the season. Week 14, finally our first game against the Green Bay Packers. We played them very late in the season this year. We're going to be on the road at Lambeau Field. And Caleb Williams won his first game at Lambeau Field last year. Yes, Jordan Love got injured in that game, but even when Jordan Love was in, the Bears were winning in that first half. So I really feel like the Bears can stack up to the Packers this year in terms of coaching talent. Ben Johnson, in my opinion, is on par with Matt LaFleur as a play caller. And if you look at the talent, the Bears do match up with the Packers in terms of offensive talent, in terms of defensive talent. Now, the Packers probably have more pass rushers on their team, so that's the one area where the Packers are better. But Caleb Williams balled out at Lambeau Field last year, and I'm actually going to pick a win here for the Chicago Bears. Screwed, okay? I know this might sound stupid to some, but we should have swept the Packers last year if not for a last-second fluke blocked field goal on that Cairo Santos go-ahead one at Soldier Field. So the Bears absolutely can beat the Green Bay Packers, and Caleb already has experience doing that at Lambeau Field. I think the Bears win this game in an upset to go to 8-5 on the season. Week 15, returning back to Soldier Field to take on the Cleveland Browns. And look, the Browns also have major question marks at quarterback. Who's going to be the quarterback? Is it going to be Dylan Gabriel? Is it going to be Joe Flacco? Is it going to be Shadur Sanders? Who even knows? Now, the Browns do have really good defensive talent. They have Mason Graham, who they drafted. They already got Myles Garrett. They have a lot of ballers on that front seven. And even on the offense, they do have, pretty solid offensive line, I would say. But they just don't have the quarterback talent. They don't have the playmaking talent either. I think the Bears win this game pretty handily to go to 9-5 on the year. Week 16, another game against the Packers, this time at home on a Saturday. That's pretty interesting, playing a Saturday game. It's going to be a primetime game as well. And even though I had the Chicago Bears winning the first game in Lambeau, I still think the Packers are a pretty good football team. I mean, Matt LaFleur is hard to count out with how good of a head coach he is, and with their offensive line talent, with their talent in trenches on defense, especially being a cold weather game. I think the Packers actually do get us at Soldier Field. Now, the Bears fan in me wants to pick a win here and pick a sweep against the Packers, which I do think is 100% possible, but I just can't do that at this point in time with the Bears still being a mostly unproven football team. I know we got to win against the Packers last year, but still a lot of question marks around the Bears. Okay, I'm not going to predict a sweep here, unfortunately. So I have the Packers winning this game to drop the Bears down to 9-6 on the year. Going to Week 17, the second to last game of the season, we're going to be traveling to San Francisco to take on the 49ers on Sunday Night Football, the Bears' only Sunday Night Football game of the year, unless they flex any of the other games we're playing this year. And I do expect a bounce back for the 49ers. I know they had a pretty rough year last year, but a lot of that was due to injuries, and I do think they have a really good roster, even though they did a lot of shuffling on the defensive line. They let go of a lot of their defensive line talent and drafted some younger guys. Kyle Shanahan is a really good head coach. He is a top 5 head coach in the NFL, in my opinion. So being on the road on primetime television against a pretty veteran football team, I'm probably going to pick a loss here just for those reasons. And, with the Bears maybe being a little bit tired and being up at this point in the season, maybe Kyle Shanahan does win out against the younger, more inexperienced Ben Johnson. So I have the Bears losing this one to go to 9-7 on the year. And then finally, week 18, we go back to Soldier Field to take on the Detroit Lions in the final game of the season. And if the Bears are 9-7 at this point in time, this could be a playoff implication game for the Chicago Bears, in which case maybe it could be moved to Sunday Night Football for back-to-back Sunday Night Football games for the Chicago Bears. But either case, guys, this is going to be an extremely important game for the Bears. If they lost the first one against the Lions, they need to win that second one. Ben Johnson needs to get at least one win against his former team, and the Bears being at home with the playoffs probably on the line, I do think they show up. Caleb Williams was incredibly clutch last year in many moments down the stretch. We didn't win a lot of those games due to some bad mistakes by our coaching staff and just other players on the roster. I think with a better coach, with a better roster this year, Caleb Williams shows up in the clutch and the season with a bang and beats the Lions to go to 10-7 on the year and sneak the Chicago Bears into the playoffs. So there you have it, guys. It's my final record prediction for the Chicago Bears. Again, it's way too early, but I have the Chicago Bears going 10-7 this year in the first year under Ben Johnson. I do think playoffs should be an expectation from Chicago Bears fans. They went out and got the top head coach on the market. They invested so much in the trenches. So even though we only won 5 games last year, I do think we can double our win total. I am expecting Caleb Williams to break out this season with all the weapons he has, with the upgrades on the offensive line, with the massive upgrade in play caller in Ben Johnson. Ben Johnson is going to put Caleb Williams in a position to succeed, and I'm also a big believer in Dennis Allen and the Bears defense. I do have question marks, obviously, at pass rusher, but overall, the Bears have more than enough talent to win 10 games this year and sneak in to the playoffs. So let me know your thoughts down below, guys. What do you guys think the Bears are going to do this year? Again, it's super early, and it's impossible to say what's going to happen with injuries, with unexpected breakouts, unexpected declines. You never really know, but at this point in time, I do think the Bears can make the playoffs. And let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. As always, guys, bear down.